Good morning. This is Darlene Griffiths with my module for school law regarding tort liability. Tort liability is when individuals are held responsible for their own actions, especially when those actions result in injury to others. The first case I want to talk about is Flanagan versus Canton. Flanagan was a 5th grade student in a gym class. The students were particularly rowdy that day, and the gym teacher, before he sent them to the locker room, had a discussion with them about appropriate behavior. So then he sends them to the locker room to change their clothes, and rather than supervising the students in the locker room, he remained in the gym to talk to another student. Flanagan, the student, when he got into the locker room, he was pushed by another student and tripped over the bench and fell into some lockers. He then sustained some injuries from that fall. So what if this happened at my school? Well, the PE teacher would be held accountable, accident report would have to be filed, and then the administration would have to determine if the teacher should be disciplined for negligence. So proactive measures that I would take. I would want both a male and a female adult available during gym classes to supervise students in the locker rooms. A set of professional ethics would be needed here. Although we assume that the professionals around us know how to maintain an acceptable standard of care, they could use a list of expectations. What is expected in our school to make sure that our kids are safe? The next case, Sanson versus Bechtel. Kenneth was a 12-year-old student in Bechtel's music class. Kenneth and some other boys were making noises rather than singing the song that Mr. Bechtel wanted them to sing. Although there was no warning issued to these boys for their misbehavior, suddenly Mr. Bechtel grabbed Kenneth by the arm and threw him into one of those movable chalkboards. Then he proceeded to move Kenneth into the hallway very physically. He grabbed the boy's arm and swung him into the wall. So what if this happened at my school? Well, a similar situation did happen at my school, and the teacher was put on administrative leave until an investigation was done. Once the investigation was concluded, the teacher did resign. So what proactive measures would I take? Well, the proactive measures and the set of professional ethics would be the same. Using a set of professional ethics, we need to talk at staff meetings about situations and how to handle them appropriately, especially when it comes to discipline. We don't want to put our hands on kids. We don't want to be physical with them, but we do want them to toe the line. The next case, Hoem versus Manhattan Beach City School. Michael was a 10-year-old boy attending summer school in the district. He left the school premises before classes had concluded, and then once he had left the premises, he was hit by a motorcyclist while crossing the street and suffered some injuries. So what if this happened at my school? Well, we would definitely want to revisit our policies and procedures regarding supervision of students. Proactively, we would want to take attendance more often, perhaps. And then for the set of professional ethics, yes, I think that is essential. We need to remind all of our staff that it is our duty as in loco parentis to make sure that kids are safe and that we are looking out for their best interest. Parents trust us to look out for their kids, and that's what we need to do at all times. The next case, Jeffrey Nichols versus USD 400. Jeffrey was practicing football with the Smoky Valley High School football team. It was a night practice, and after practice, the coach instructed the players to run to the locker room. On his way to the locker room, Jeffrey stumbled as he was going through a water crossing of some sort there, kind of a drainage ditch, and claimed he had injured his back. So what if this happened at my school? Well, Jeffrey is already taking on assumed risk by joining the football team. He knows that there is a chance that he would get injured by just joining. And so proactive measures, I would encourage the football coaches to look at all foreseeable dangers and take action so that those things can be avoided. And then for professional ethics, just remind the coaches that it's their job to keep students safe, and if it is a night practice, make sure that the pathways and whatever you want those students to do is well lit so that no accidents like this can happen. The last case I want to talk about is Calvert versus Tulsa Public Schools. Lakita was a 10-year-old student, and she had asthma. And one day she had a very severe asthma attack while at school, and her parents said that Lakita had asked people in the school, staff members, to help her, and she was ignored by those staff members. So what if this happened at my school? Well, we have students with lots of different medical issues, and we all have to be trained on how to deal with those medical issues. For instance, asthma, diabetes, multiple sclerosis, seizures, feeding tubes. Staff that are interacting with those students on a day-to-day basis need to be trained on what the signs are, what do we need to do. So proactively, teachers need to know the warning signs of medical conditions so they can offer assistance when medical emergencies arise, be aware of which of students have those medical conditions, and be willing to jump in as needed. Professional ethics. Remind staff of their obligations to keep students safe as in loco parentis, and do their best to take care of their students as well as they can. So we definitely want to set a high standard for our fellow teachers and our staff, and keep those students safe in all conditions. So here are my sources, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you.